The ring slipped from Marcus Chen's trembling fingers at the worst possible moment. It struck the black crystal floor of the Valdrian throne chamber with a clear metallic sound that echoed like a gunshot. The entire court had been silent. Queen Seelith stood above him on her raised throne, preparing to judge the human delegation. Hundreds of alien eyes were fixed on her. The fate of the last human colonies depended on her next words. Then the ring bounced. Once. Twice. It rolled in a perfect circle. And stopped at the base of her throne. Every noble. Every commander. Every guard turned their heads. Marcus didn't think. He moved. 4 quick steps broke the invisible line that no outsider was allowed to cross. Gasps filled the chamber. Crystal spears lifted. Energy weapons hummed. He dropped to one knee, not to beg, but to grab the ring. His mother's ring. The last piece of earth he had left. His fingers closed around it. And another hand touched his. Warm bronze skin met pale human skin. Queen Seelith's hand had come down at the same moment. For a second, they both held it. Then something impossible happened. Her slender fingers twisted with his. And the ring slid onto her 4th finger. The chamber froze. The silence now was not ceremonial. It was explosive. Chancellor Voratha's voice sliced through the air. He has invoked the claim of joining. The words echoed across the vaulted chamber. Marcus blinked. I only dropped. A human, Vorath continued, outraged, has dared claim the sacred bond upon the eternal throne. Guards leveled their crystal spears at Marcus's chest. He should have been afraid. He was. But he couldn't look away from Seelith's face. She wasn't angry. She wasn't disgusted. For just 1 second. She looked hopeful. Is this a proposal? She asked quietly. Her amber eyes, with vertical pupils like a predator's, locked onto his. Marcus swallowed. Your Majesty, I apologize. The ring belonged to my mother. I meant no disrespect. The claim was made, Vorath insisted. By ancient law, it must be answered. Punishment for false invocation is death by unraveling. A ripple of dark excitement moved through the court. Marcus felt his heart slow. So this was how it would end. He had volunteered to represent humanity because he had nothing left to lose. Now he understood how little that mattered. Then Seelith stood. And when she stood, the room felt smaller. The claim of joining, she said calmly, is older than your office, Chancellor. Older than this dynasty. It cannot be ignored. Voratha's skin paled. You cannot be serious. Her gaze sharpened. Do you presume to command me? Silence. Then she turned back to Marcus. I accept. The words hit like thunder. Shock rolled through the chamber. Vorath staggered back as if struck. Seelith's voice remained steady. The joining trials will begin at the setting of the 3rd moon. The guards lowered their weapons slowly. Marcus felt like gravity had changed. This wasn't execution. It was something worse. Or maybe something better. She leaned slightly toward him. What is your name, human? Marcus. Marcus Chen. Marcus Chen, she repeated softly, testing the sound. You have placed yourself in danger. The trials will likely kill you. How many before me? He asked. 17. Over 3 centuries. He let out a slow breath. Then I suppose I have good odds. A small, almost invisible smile touched her lips. Rise, Marcus Chen. You are now my betrothed. The guards escorted him away. As he was led from the throne room, he noticed something that made his chest tighten. She was still wearing his mother's ring. The consort's wing. The wing reserved for royal suitors was beautiful and terrible at the same time. 17 holographic portraits lined the hall. Each one showed a former suitor. Each one had a plaque beneath it. Cause of death. Neural collapse. Gravitational crush. Energy overload. Marcus walked past them slowly. Encouraging, he muttered. The captain of the guard, a tall Valdrian woman with silver markings across her face, glanced at him. No one has survived all trials, she said. First time for everything. His room was massive. Soft glowing walls. A bed large enough for a family. Windows showing a glowing garden beneath 3 moons. But hidden in the corners were observation devices. He was being watched. Good. Let them watch. 3 hours later, the door opened. A younger Valdrian woman stepped inside. Her bronze skin was darker than the Queen's. Her expression sharper. I am the Sal. The Queen's sister. Marcus stood. She studied him carefully. Are you an assassin? A fool? Or extremely unlucky? Probably all 3, he answered. Her lips twitched. You are calm. I've already lost everything, he said quietly. It makes death less impressive. Something in her eyes softened. You should understand what you have entered. Valdrian bonding is permanent. Biological. If one dies, the other follows. Marcus stiffened. So if I fail? You die. If you succeed, you are bound for life. He thought about Earth. About watching it burn. About holding his mother's hand as she died in a refugee ship. About promising to find something worth living for. Why did your sister accept? He asked. The Sal hesitated. She has ruled alone for 300 years. Every suitor wanted power, territory, influence. And me. You wanted a ring. She moved toward the door. The first trial is tomorrow. The trial of truth. Your mind will be opened completely. Every memory shown to the court. Marcus nodded. Good. She paused. She said you may withdraw the claim. She will return the ring and still grant your people trade protection. Marcus looked up sharply. She did. Yes. Why didn't she tell me herself? Thessel's voice softened. Because if you accepted, it would break her. The door closed. Marcus sat alone. He stared at the stars outside the window. Then he whispered, I'm not withdrawing. The trial of truth. The chamber was carved from living crystal. Marcus was strapped into a neural extraction throne. The court watched from above. Queen Seelith sat alone, her face unreadable. Chancellor Vorath looked pleased. Begin, he ordered. Pain exploded. Not physical pain. It felt like being peeled apart from the inside. Memories flooded the chamber as holographic images. Earth. Blue oceans. Green fields. His mother playing piano. The invasion. Ships in the sky. Fire. His father pushing him toward evacuation. The explosion that took him. Gasps filled the chamber. Then refugee ships. Starvation. Disease. His mother giving her food to strangers. Her final breath. Her pressing the ring into his hand. Find something worth living for. The gallery was silent now. Even the nobles. More memories. Human colonies struggling. Marcus fighting raiders. Protecting children. Carrying the wounded. Failing sometimes. Trying again anyway. Enough. Seelith stood suddenly. Vorath protested. We have not reached. I have seen enough, she said. She descended to him. Removed the neural interface gently. He carries no deceit, she announced. Only grief and loyalty. She helped him stand. He could barely think. You stopped it, he whispered. I did. Why? Her hand touched his cheek. Because I do not wish to see you broken. For the first time in years, Marcus felt something warm in his chest. Not pain. Not anger. Hope. That night, she came to him alone. No guards. No crown. I have been alone for centuries, she admitted. Everyone sees a throne. No one sees me. He stepped closer carefully. I saw you, he said. She held up her hand. The golden ring caught the moonlight. I could have returned it. But you didn't. No. Silence filled the space between them. Not heavy. Not cold. Something new. The remaining trials will continue, she said softly. I know. Most die in the second. Marcus gave a tired smile. I'm human. She tilted her head. And that means we survive impossible things. For the first time in 300 years, Queen Seelith laughed. And the sound changed everything. The 3 moons of Valdaris were still fading from the sky when Marcus was escorted to the war chamber. Unlike the Trial of Truth, this room was not beautiful. It was cold. Steel walls. Tactical displays. Holographic battle maps floating in the air. Valdrian generals stood in a half-circle. Their armor gleamed like sharpened glass. At the center stood General Kovith. "You are smaller," Kovith said, studying Marcus. "Slower. Weaker." "Correct," Marcus replied calmly. "Then the trial of combat should be brief." Queen Sealith stood above them in a private observation balcony. Her expression was unreadable. Marcus looked up at her only once. She did not look away. Chancellor Vorath stepped forward. By ancient law, the suitor must prove strength. Marcus raised a hand slightly. "With respect," he said, "if I fight a Valdrian soldier directly, I die in seconds." Murmurs filled the chamber. Vorath's eyes narrowed. "Then surrender." Marcus shook his head. Humans learned something during the expansion wars. When you are weaker, you do not fight strength. You fight smarter. General Kovith's eyes sharpened. "Explain." Marcus pointed toward the holographic battlefield map hovering in the center. "Simulate a hegemony invasion. Full fleet. Targeting a border colony." The room went quiet. The hegemony. The same empire that had burned Earth. Even Valdrians respected them. The simulation began. Red enemy ships flooded the projection. Valdrian fleet markers blinked in defense formation. Marcus stepped closer. "Your strategy focuses on frontal resistance," he said. "Direct engagement." "That is honor," one commander said proudly. "That is extinction," Marcus replied. He began adjusting formations. Splitting fleets. Creating fake retreat signals. Sacrificing small drones to create sensor confusion. He rerouted civilian transports through asteroid shadows. He disabled planetary lights to simulate evacuation. "Humans survived because we waste nothing," he said quietly. "Not even fear." The simulation accelerated. Enemy ships advanced. Valdrian forces followed Marcus's plan. Instead of a glorious battle, the hegemony fleet overextended. Split apart. Lost communication clarity. Marcus activated hidden defense platforms placed inside debris fields. One by one, red enemy markers disappeared. The chamber was silent except for the soft hum of the projection. Final result flashed across the map. Colony survived. 62% enemy losses. General Kovith slowly crossed his arms. "You fight like prey," he said. Marcus met his gaze. "We fight like survivors." Long silence. Then Kovith gave a short nod. "The trial of combat is past." From the balcony, Sealith finally exhaled. But Vorath did not look pleased. Not at all. The hidden attack. That night, alarms shattered the palace calm. Red emergency lights flooded the halls. Marcus was pulled from his chambers by armed guards. "What happened?" he demanded. General Kovith's voice echoed through the corridor speakers. "Hegemony fleet detected at the outer defense line." Marcus froze. "They're here." "Yes." Sealith appeared at the end of the hallway, already in royal armor. Not ceremonial. Battle armor. "They test us," she said coldly. "They wish to see if our alliance is weak." Marcus felt anger burn in his chest. The hegemony never stopped hunting humans. Even now. "Take me to the command center," he said. Vorath stepped from the shadows. "No," the Chancellor said sharply. "A human will not command Valdrian fleets." Sealith's eyes turned dangerous. "He is my betrothed. He is human. And he passed the combat trial." Vorath hesitated. Marcus stepped forward. "If you refuse my help and lose this battle, your people die because of pride." The words were simple. Direct. Human. Sealith looked at him for a long moment. Then she turned. "Bring him." The Battle of 3 Moons. The command chamber overlooked space itself. Through massive transparent panels, stars burned bright. And beyond them, enemy ships. Dark. Silent. Too many. They jam long-range signals, Kovith reported. We cannot call reinforcements. Marcus studied the formations carefully. The hegemony ships were not attacking directly. They were waiting. They want us to rush, Marcus said. Vorath scoffed. Obviously. No, Marcus replied calmly. They want you to prove strength. To charge. Seelith folded her hands behind her back. What do you suggest? Marcus stared at the moons. Then he smiled slightly. Use them. Minutes later, Valdrian fleets began moving. But not toward the enemy. They retreated. Hegemony ships followed. Closer. Closer to the orbiting moons. At first, it looked like cowardice. Some commanders shifted nervously. But Marcus kept watching sensor data. Now, he whispered. Valdrian defense satellites hidden on the dark sides of the moons activated. Gravitational amplifiers ignited. Massive tidal forces distorted space around the hegemony fleet. Enemy ships were pulled slightly off alignment. Just enough. Valdrian stealth ships emerged from moon shadow. Precise strikes. Communication relays destroyed. Navigation systems scrambled. Hegemony formation collapsed into confusion. Marcus turned to Kovith. Target their command vessel. Focused fire. 3 coordinated volleys. The massive flagship exploded in silent white light. The remaining hegemony ships hesitated. Then, they retreated. The chamber stood frozen. Then cheers erupted. Valdrian officers stared at Marcus like he was something impossible. You used gravity itself, one whispered. Marcus shook his head. We used what was there. Seelith stepped beside him. You have saved my people, she said softly. No, he replied. We saved them. She did not correct him. But Vorath watched from the shadows. And his eyes were cold. The final trial. The next day, the last trial began. The trial of wisdom. Marcus stood before the Council of Ancestors. Ancient holographic figures flickered around him. 10,000 years of rulers. One question filled the chamber. What will you give the Queen that no other has? Marcus did not answer immediately. He thought about Seelith standing alone for centuries. About her laughter in his chamber. About her hand holding his. Then he spoke. I will give her truth. Murmurs. He continued. I will tell her when she is wrong. I will stand beside her when she is tired. I will remind her she is allowed to be more than a crown. Silence. One ancient figure stepped forward. You offer equality. Yes. You offer vulnerability. Yes. You offer no ambition. Marcus looked directly at them. I already lost everything I wanted. I don't need a throne. I just need her. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then the eldest ancestor spoke. The trial of wisdom is past. Betrayal. But before the bonding ceremony could begin, Vorath made his move. He stood before the full court. This human weakens us, he declared. The hegemony attacked because of him. We invite corruption. Some nobles nodded. Fear spread easily. Vorath turned toward Seelith. End the claim. Return the ring. Preserve purity. The chamber waited. Seelith slowly removed her glove. The golden ring shone under palace light. She did not take it off. Instead, she stepped down from the throne, walked to Marcus, and took his hand openly. He has strengthened us, she said calmly. He has given us survival beyond pride. Voratha's face twisted. You risk your life for a human. Seelitha's voice became steel. Yes. The bond ceremony began immediately. Ancient words echoed in the temple beneath the 3 moons. Marcus felt the neural connection activate. Warmth spread through his mind. Not invasion. Not control. Connection. He felt her emotions. Her strength. Her loneliness fading. She felt his grief. His resilience. His endless stubborn hope. Energy surged between them. The bond sealed. Permanent. Irreversible. The court gasped as golden light shimmered around them. Vorath stepped back slowly. The decision was final. 1 year later, the Empire had changed. Human agricultural systems restored failing Valdrian worlds. Valdrian shields protected human colonies. Trade flourished. Cultural exchange began. For the first time in decades, human refugees built homes without fear. And in the palace garden, Marcus stood beneath the glowing trees. Seelith approached quietly. "You are thinking," she said. "About my mother," he answered. She touched the ring gently. "She would be proud." He smiled. "I think she would like you." Seelith raised an eyebrow playfully. "Only like." He laughed. "I accidentally proposed once." "And now?" she asked softly. Marcus pulled a small crystal band from his pocket. "Forged from palace crystal. Holding compressed starlight. This time," he said, "I mean it." Her breath caught slightly. "Marcus Chen, is this a proposal?" "Yes." He slid the ring beside his mother's. "I choose you. Not for alliance. Not for survival. Just you." For a queen who had ruled alone for 300 years. Her answer was immediate. "Yes." She kissed him beneath the rising moons. Not as queen and consort, but as equals. Partners. Two broken souls who had chosen to build something stronger than fear. Above them, the stars burned quietly. The hegemony would think twice before attacking again. Humanity had not conquered the stars. They had done something far more powerful. They had earned a place among them. And at the center of an empire transformed by one accidental ring. A human and a queen ruled together. Not through dominance, but through trust. And that changed everything.